Beautiful. Our next question comes from Ruth F.
Hey, Ruth.
And she asks, how can I use my fears to push me forward rather than hold me back in life?
Fuck, what a great question, Ruth. So one of my favorite quotes is this concept, and I don't actually know who said it, but so I'll claim it myself. Is that use the emotion, don't let the emotion use you. And so fear, nervousness, I love this quote as well. Fear, nervousness, discomfort, and anxiety is your soul's compass to growth. So if you're experiencing a negative emotion, it means that you're actually about to go to the next level, not the other way around. So one of the things that I've done is I've trained my brain quite consciously and deliberately, and that's basically the answer to this question is you've got to train yourself. But I've trained my brain that if I feel fear about doing something, for example, that I attack it, I pursue it as soon as possible. And it's something that I picked up from Will Smith. He talked about the idea of attacking the things that he was afraid of. So for me, there's not a lot of times in my life where there are circumstances or situations where I'm like, oh, I want to do something, but I'm holding back on it. Normally, I'm very gung-ho about that. That, by the way, side note, is a learned skill. I wasn't always like that. It's taken years to get to the point where now I just act and execute. But certainly what I would do is I would consider, and you can do this by maybe writing a bit of a list of the things that you're afraid of or the things that you've got fear around, and then just diving into them. But I remember in the beginning, when I was starting this business about just over 6 years ago, I was really afraid of getting started, partly because I was like, what happens if no one comes to my events? What happens if no one registers or buys from me? What happens if this doesn't all work out? Like all of that fear of what might not happen. And in many cases, I wasn't thinking about what could happen. I was thinking about what wouldn't happen, right? So all these things that wouldn't have happened. But I remember when I was thinking about that, the conversation I then had was like, if I was afraid to do one, well, then I can't be that much more afraid to do three. Like your fear doesn't triple when you do it. Like, for example, some people have a fear of skydiving, but they don't have three times the fear of skydiving three times. But ironically, what happens is if you make the decision to do something 3x, then the individual experience doesn't become as significant anymore. It's a really weird hack for me. So when I think about something I'm afraid to do, I'm always thinking about just that one experience. But if you can manipulate it, for example, you might be afraid of going to ask somebody out for a drink at a bar. But if your goal that night is to ask three people out at the bar, for no other reason than you picked three people, well then the one person that says no now doesn't have as much of an impact. Like all three could say no, but they don't feel as bad if it was just that one person. So my suggestion to you is identify the fear, understand where the fear is coming from, and then increase the expectation, because you don't then increase the fear as a result of it. In fact, it actually diminishes it. It reduces the overall fear experience. So use that and train your brain into that experience. And if you're feeling it, just do it. Mel Robbins talks about the 5-second rule, which is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. I would incorporate that into your psyche as well. I think that'll make a huge impact for you.